What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this edition of the Sharp Reality Live. At Donovan_Sharp is where you guys can find me on Twitter. You can also visit donovansharp.com to listen to past episodes of TSR. You can also find them right here on YouTube. You can go to SoundCloud and find them. I'm also on iTunes. The contact tab is where you can submit your questions, comments, or requests for future podcast episodes. And of course, as always, if you'd like to support the show, just bookmark the Amazon link on the right-hand side of our homepage and do all your Amazon shopping through that link. Be sure, guys, to sign up for our weekly newsletter to stay up to date on all things Donovan Sharp. And don't worry, we'll never sell or give your information to anyone for any reason. And we're certainly not going to blow up your inbox with multiple emails. It'll be once a week, and that's it. Okay, my guest today is none other than the founder of one of the most influential sites on the manosphere, Illimitable Men.com, which every person with a dick needs to bookmark. He can be found on Twitter at Illimitable Man. I of course, am talking about none other than I Am, aka Illimitable Man. I Am, how you doing, man?
It's good to be back, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been about a month since our last episode. And if I'm not mistaken, I think our last episode, wasn't that our fat shaming episode? Didn't we make fun of fat girls or something like that?
I'm pretty sure at some point there was like a 30-minute rant about why fat chicks aren't worthy or something.
I remember we talked about, I remember in one of our testosterone replacement therapy episodes, we talked about the fact that when men have large guts, a lot of that sort of aromatizes or turns into estrogen or saps your testosterone. So we pretty much were saying, if you're a guy and you're fat, you're basically a fat chick. You're almost transgender if you're a fat dude.
But you know what the funny thing about that is, right? The less testosterone you have, the less there is to aromatize into estrogen, right? Because you mainly create your estrogen via the aromatization of your testosterone. So logic would dictate that if your testosterone's low, there isn't that much of it to aromatize into estrogen. And yet a lot of these low T guys are pretty fucking fat. So I think it's more yeah, I can't work out in my mind how you could have high estrogen if you had low testosterone, because you need lots of like guys who do like fucking shit tons of injectable testosterone. They get really high estrogen, right? Because they have all this testosterone that can be aromatized into estrogen. So they have to use something to block it. So that makes sense to me, like logically. But if you have low testosterone, so you don't have much to aromatize to begin with, how the fuck does your estrogen get high? And yeah, blows my mind.
You know what? I'm glad it's the opposite, or I'm glad that it's like that, man. Because Jesus Christ, it's so funny. A lot of guys out there they're just not healthy, and yeah, they start they get on testosterone replacement therapy, and they don't take things like exemestane or any sort of AI inhibitor, and they end up being even more faggoty than they were before. So anyway.
Well, I know this isn't the main topic of this podcast, but I know you're as interested in this topic as I am. Exemestane's serocidal, isn't it? So when it attacks, it's like that thing's never switching on again. Like that, the estrogen can't exert effects on that site ever again. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, without a doubt.
Whereas Armadex is reversible, isn't it?
Yeah, most guys, a lot of guys I know take Arimidex, and then some guys are on Stain. It just kind of depends. It really depends on what kind of testosterone they're on and things of that nature. But speaking of high T, as a man with high testosterone, we are designed to seek out the hottest and most feminine females out there. And when
Mm,
most men take the red pill, myself included, when I first learned how to talk to and sleep with beautiful women, good looking girls, hot chicks, without spending much money or really exerting much effort, just kind of doing what I naturally want to do, that's all I
mm,
focused on for that's all I focused on probably for the first 5, maybe 6 years. But
mm,
as you progress in your red pill life, other things start to become a little more important. Finances, obviously, fitness.
mm,
And the more sex, it's just like any commodity. The more something is available to you, the less you value it. So I'm
mhm,
down there in Las Vegas, I'm fucking this chick and that. And at some point, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's great to be fucking chicks, but I was in the back of my mind, and this happened almost on a subconscious level. And I think a lot of guys out there think the same thing. While it's great to fuck hot girls on the regular, it would
mm,
be nice to find one girl that I can cultivate, a girl I can train, that I can count on to be my main chick. Well, a
mm,
lot of us men can go out and get girlfriends anytime we want to, but it is keeping them in line that is the trick. Anybody can get into
mm,
college or university. It's staying in college and university that is the trick. So we'll
mm,
take this thing from the top here. I am when if Illimitable Man says, you know what, I'm tired of fucking hot. Well, Illimitable Man would never say I'm tired of fucking hot chicks and get my dick sucked. But if Illimitable Man says, all right, I've got a harem, I've got a stable full of chicks, I get my dick sucked anytime I want, but I want a woman who I enjoy being around outside of sex. I want a woman who has a decent personality, a woman who I enjoy.
mm.
I need someone I can enjoy my company with.
You
So tell
you mean
me,
something
yeah,
other than a cock receptacle?
there you go.
That's what you
Other than
mean,
a
right?
cocker, yeah, other than a dick dumpster. So
Yeah.
what are some of the most important things to you? Obviously, absent physical attraction. Obviously, the woman has to be attractive, but provided
Mm,
she is attractive, what are the most important traits to you when selecting a main chick?
mm, yeah, I can think of quite a few, but the main two qualities that stick out, and I'll give my reasoning, are introversion, not extroversion. Most women are quite extroverted, right? They always want to go out. They always they want to go to like restaurants. They want to see their friends. They want this like fast lifestyle, and I don't think that's a good thing for stability. It's fine if you want something that's casual, or if you're hooking up, yeah, who cares about that shit? But with an introvert girl, you don't have to worry so much about her capacity for infidelity, because extroverts enjoy people's company more easily than introverts, right? So introverts do enjoy people's company, but and people's they don't enjoy people's company as frequently as extroverts do. So they're more discriminatory in whose company they enjoy. So if they enjoy your company, but they don't enjoy most people's company, then their like mental like, even if they're like intrinsically pretty damn horny, like she's a girl with a high sex drive, if she doesn't enjoy the company of most people, but she enjoys your company, the probability she's going to cheat on you isn't that high. And she's not even going to put herself in situations very often where cheating could occur. Like, introvert girls don't like going to bars. They don't like going to clubs.
Right,
They
right,
they, they
right.
don't they don't want to. They don't like the carousel. They just fundamentally uncomfortable with it. So introversion I think is a good thing in girls. If you're a pretty lively guy and you like to live hard and fast, you might find an introvert girl boring. Some guys, they're like crazy bitches. And I understand, fair enough, but we are speaking in terms of long-term relationships and stability, and those chicks aren't stable, and they will give you many, many problems. and many sleepless nights and many bouts of rage. And I certainly, from the bottom of my heart, cannot recommend those women for this for this purpose.
I agree. It's funny. I had never thought of that particular trait, introversion,
Mm,
as high on my list in terms of selecting a girl to be my main chick,
hmm
because I think we all know that extroversion is at its root, it's attention seeking. Any
hmm
woman who is an extrovert, she's an extrovert because she is trying to draw attention to herself.
hmm
And at her core, anytime a woman draws attention to herself, whether she knows what the purpose is or not, it is always to expand her pool of potential suitors. She's an
hmm
extrovert to say, look at me. It's almost like she's casting a net. I'm going to be wild. I'm going to be lively. I'm going to be crazy. And I'm going to
mm,
see whose attention I get. And whoever's attention I get, I'll make the decision on which one is the most sexually attractive. Again, they don't go out and
mm.
say, I'm gonna go to a bar or a club to be an extrovert so I can get dick. Oh, actually, yes, they are. This is exactly what they do.
Yeah,
Women
that's
who are
pretty much, yeah.
extroverts, listen, that is a bona fide 100% slut tell. And guys will say, oh, my woman is the life of the party, and my
Oh
woman
dear,
never talked to
that
a
is
stranger. I can't, that all she's an attention whore. That's all there is to
tragic.
it.
That,
Now,
that's not a good thing. If she's the life of the party, that's not a good thing.
no, no. She's the life of the party, and pretty soon she will be the slut of the party. That's how that works. A woman that I'm grooming right now to be my main chick is definitely an introvert.
Mm,
Now when she's confronted with situations, social situations, she's kind, she's pleasant, but she doesn't go out of her way to draw attention to herself, at least not as far as I know. So
mm,
that obviously bodes well for the lack of infidelity. The less attention your woman draws to herself, it is exactly like you said, the less the less the odds are that she is going to cheat, because she just doesn't have as
hmm
many options as a result of her being an introvert. As
mm,
and listen, I'm an extroverted guy. I'm a jovial guy,
mm,
very gregarious. I love talking to people. I'm a big, loud, boisterous guy.
mm,
But I don't find introverted women boring, because it's a yin and the yang thing. I'm a
hmm
man and she's a woman. I have to
hmm
bring certain things to the table that she generally cannot. And
hmm
so long as I'm in charge, so long as I'm the leader, listen, man, there's only room for one alpha in the relationship, and I'm gonna
hmm
be that guy. So as far as
Sure.
I'm concerned, as a guy who is an introvert, a guy who is outgoing, I want my woman to be as introverted as human. No, of course, now when we're in the bedroom and she's on her knees, deep throat my cock, by all means, you can be as extroverted as you want to be. Hey, listen, sweetie, draw attention to yourself, and I will give you all the attention you need all over your face. But outside of the bedroom, yeah, definitely keep to yourself.
The the thing about introversion, right, is introverts don't seek diversity of attention. They seek intensity of attention. So an extrovert girl wants lots of people to notice her. An introvert girl wants somebody, well, a man that she values highly to notice her. And that is more conducive to relational loyalty and the overall stability of the relationship. Because think about it, right? An extrovert girl, even if you're a really high value man, let's just say you're Christian Grey, right? You're still, let's just be like, oh, you're perfect. You've got billions of followers. You have the fucking physique of a Greek god or
You've got a
demigod or what
15
the fuck.
inch dick. Yeah, you've got a 15-inch dick. You've got whips
Right.
and chains, blah, blah, blah,
You're,
right?
and you wrote like 25 books in 3 months and 24 of them are bestsellers. Like just whatever. So you're basically chick crack. You're fucking perfect,
Sure.
right?
Right.
But if she's an extrovert, you're still one guy, right? You're still one guy. Extroverts aren't happy with a lack of diversity. They need quantity, right? They need quantity of attention. They seek novelty, right? They seek novelty and diversity. Whereas introverts don't seek novelty and diversity; they seek intensity and quality. So if an introvert girl likes you, then that means you are intense enough in quality to her. And juxtaposed against the average person, they can't, they haven't got shit on you. So what I'm trying to say is that if a girl's an introvert and she likes you, you will fulfill her as one, you know, like one is enough. If that one single unit of humanity is high enough in quality, it's enough. Whereas for an extrovert, it's like, yeah, well, you're Christian Grey, you've got billions of dollars, you have your fucking 8-pack, you drive your fucking Lamborghini or what the fuck ever, but I still want to go out and party and talk to other people. You know? So I know we're kind of really like drilling into the whole introvert extrovert thing, but
I think it's important. I think it's very important because extroverts, extrovert females, they're not as discriminate as introverts. And as a result, they don't have as much cock thrown in their direction. And again, listen, women are human. They can be quality females, but they're human. At some point, you get enough cock thrown at you, you're going to find your way onto one or a few of them at some point, regardless of how introverted you are.
Well, the introversion. Yeah, introversion in women, well, and people in general, but we're speaking about relationships in women. It lends itself to quality within the woman, and quality within the men that she seeks. So it's a more stable, safer proposition. Like you can trust an introvert girl far more easily than you can trust an extrovert girl.
Oh, of course.
Purely due to the lack of novelty seeking in the introvert girl. And furthermore, the introvert girl will have an exponentially lower fucking notch count than an extrovert girl ever will. Like an extrovert girl has probably been through more cocks in the first 5 years of adulthood than an introvert girl has been through in the first 20 years of adulthood. Right. So that is just primary. And another thing is that dumb people don't tend to be introverted. I don't know if you've noticed that. Dumb people are really outgoing motherfuckers, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They like the, and it's funny because it's like they always have something to prove. I may be stupid, but I'm not really. I'm smart and I'm outgoing. Haha, hooray for me. Especially girls.
Right. Yeah, like find like the dumbest like bimbo ever, and she is going to be so outgoing. Right. So you got to think, so long-term relationship, what is the purpose of a long-term relationship? Is it just to have easy sex and not have to go out and look for it like continuously, or do you want something more? You know, do you want some kind of I don't know, like a spiritual connection? Do you want to start a family or whatever? If the answer is you want to start a family, do you want your kids to be morons? I'm going to assume no, because you want your kids to have enough intelligence to make good money and, you know, be a force to be reckoned with in the world and not suffer from poverty because they're dumb. So okay, so then an introvert girl is probably going to be smarter than the average woman, because as we've already kind of established without any evidence whatsoever, but it seems to be self-evident from observation. If someone finds me an introvert dumb person who doesn't have some like mental disorder or something, I'll be fucking surprised. It's only smart people, or at least slightly above average intelligence people, who are introverted. Most now, I'm not saying that all outgoing people are dumb, because that's wrong. What I'm saying is that hardly any dumb people are introverted. It's very rare in dumb people. Most introverts tend to be smart. So if your girl's introverted, she's probably not dumb, which means the IQ of your kids is probably going to be higher, and that's good if you want to start a family.
Yeah, my main chick is absolutely not dumb. She is now she is definitely a woman, meaning that she makes dumb. Right. She's got tits. She makes dumb woman decisions, and it's funny. Like we'll be talking about relationship dynamics on any different level, and it's she's a woman. I mean that's what she is. But by the same token, her intelligence level is it's definitely above average. Like what she does for a living, she is very good at, and it shows because when she starts talking about it, then I feel like the dumb one, and sometimes I'll tell her, okay, look, sweetheart, you're talking over my fucking head. Like, talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old in kindergarten class. Like, you have to dumb it down for me. But when it comes to the dynamics of our dealings between me and her relationship wise, I'm the one that takes control. We got a question here from Logic Wins. He says, Donovan, if your girl is introverted, did that make it harder to game her? She must have been nervous when you first approached her. Yeah, Logic Wins. This is actually quite funny. When I first started talking to my main chick, she did her damnedest to make it look like she was an extrovert. She would, I mean, she told me it was so funny. It was so easy. Oh, I've been out with this guy and this and that and the other, and she did her best to let me know that she's this fun, outgoing chick. Well, Red Pill 101 says that when a woman tries to act or tries to sell you on what she is, or tells you what kind of woman she is inadvertently telling you the kind of man that she wants. And so it didn't take long for my domineering and commanding personality to tame her. And so when we are out, when we're out, she is not an extrovert. Like I said, she'll be cordial, she'll be polite. If we're at the gas station picking up a couple of bottles of water, thank you, blah, 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 blah. But when we're out at restaurants, or if we're on a plane, or if we're wherever we are, it doesn't matter. I'm the guy in charge, and she loves it. She loves the fact that she can just sit back and relax and be an introvert, because she no longer has to prove to me that she's an extrovert. Because look, feminism tells women that you have to be these loud, gregarious women to be attractive to men. And again, that's a shit test, and that's projection. Women who are feminists want big, loud, commanding personality, so they tell their women, this is what you have to be to attract men. Going back to your Christian Grey analogy, that was a brilliant analogy. In other words, you can be a Christian Grey, 15-inch dick, billions of dollars in the bank, you fuck her like a porn star, you make her squirt everywhere. To an introvert, you will be all that she needs, because she's getting all of that from you. An extrovert says, yeah, he's a good guy, but I need attention from elsewhere. I saw an Orbit gum commercial, and it shows like an Asian woman, pretty girl. She's obviously Americanized, but she is in a wedding dress, and she is in a limo driving somewhere. She is in the middle of the seat, and there's a woman's voice in the background that says, he's got a job, he's got a great job, he has a car, he has money, he has security, but he doesn't have you. And the girl kind of smiles, and I think to myself, this is what fucks up relationships. She has quite literally found the male version of a unicorn, but you still need more. That's the difference between introverts and extroverts. And I got a comment here from Logic, from the same person for you, with you, I am. He says, I agree with I am. Another plus to introverted chicks is that they tend not to realize how hot they are, because they don't go out often. Hence, they aren't complimented by men very often. What do you say?
To jump on that, because they're less exposed to male attention due to their innate introversion, they have lower narcissistic supply, right? So we always talk about how women on social media, everyone's liking their shit. You know, guys are always like inflating their ego. Oh, you're so beautiful, whatever. Oh, so hot, or whatever. I hate even saying it as a quotation. I feel disgusted with myself just alluding to it. But essentially, their egos are less inflated because they have less exposure, right? And it's not just on the internet, but it's also in real life. So they don't ride the cock carousel. They have less male attention, which means they have. I'm not going to mince my words. They have more of a fucking soul. They're not. They don't have these
sexual hang-ups.
shields.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So so okay, so they're not as sexually jaded because they don't spread their legs so easily, but they also, so one stage prior to that, they don't have such magnificent fucking bitch shields which are developed from men constantly approaching you because you're a woman and you're constantly putting yourself in situations where men would approach you, e.g. you'll go into bars and clubs, right? These girls don't do that, so they don't develop these bitch shields.
It's funny. Hot girls like the nines and tens of the world, they are far easier to approach than the fives and sixes and sevens. And I've
Mm,
always said this: approaching hot girls is easy. Fucking them is really hard. On the flip side, fives, sixes, and sevens, and sometimes eight, they are really, really hard to approach. But once you pass a couple of shit tests, I mean, they quite literally tell you, "Look, dude, if you, as long as you stay conscious, you're gonna end up fucking me." That's the difference between an extrovert and an introvert. Extroverts, just like you said, they have these crazy bitch shields, but as soon as you get past the bitch
mm.
shields, then you're in there, provided that you get past that.
But it's because of their range of experience, right? So,
Sure.
like, if you're an introvert girl, you probably have at least above average IQ. You probably like going to the library, and like so guys listening to this are thinking, where can I find an introvert girl? So I'm basically saying where you can find them now. So they're going to go to the library, they're going to go to like museums, art galleries, that kind of thing, right? Like, these are the places they're going to go. They're not going to be in nightclubs and bars and whatever. And if they're in a restaurant, they're probably with their family, and it's probably someone's birthday or something like that, right? So the range of experience is different. They're not approached as much because they don't put themselves in environments where approaches are expected. Like in a nightclub, it's implicitly known by everyone that women are going to stand around holding a fucking drink, and some dude who has the booze or is sufficiently drunk enough, which I guess Dutch courage does lend itself to booze, is going to go over to her and approach her, right? So now,
Right.
if a girl's been going to clubs and bars for months or even years, but let's give her the benefit of the doubt and say she's on the total whore and she's just been going for months, right? Even just for months, she she's going to build up a bit shield that an introvert girl would not have built up because an introvert girl has never, or like maybe been in a club like once or something,
Right.
right? So the the introvert the introvert girls are it's odd. They're more discriminatory in your quality as a person, but they're not as jaded or as hardened by their exposure to men because they don't have so much negative exposure to men, if that makes sense. Because they're not, because if you think about the club, it's really just a mating ground where people
Oh
take drugs
yeah.
and get drunk and then attempt to convince the opposite sex, hey, that's fuck, right? That's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
clubs exist for. and,
Yeah.
it, and
Right.
it's under
Rinse
a
and repeat.
pretense. And it's under a pretense of, oh, we like the music here, we came here to dance. Like who go
Girls'
like
night
who
out. I'm going out with my
like
girlfriends. We just want to go out and shake our asses and have fun in a circle. Nah, bitch, you're out trolling for dick. Like, dude, like, don't be
who goes to a
ashamed.
club to dance?
If you listen, if you
Like
want,
no one.
listen, if you want to get fucked up and go get dick, say, hey, I want to get fucked up and go get dick.
Women lie to themselves.
Oh, of course.
They lie to themselves. Like stupid bitches who go to the club saying, "Oh, we came here to dance." It's like you probably actually believe you came here to dance, don't you? Like you didn't come here to dance. You came here to get to get cheap validation, like watching porn or eating a cheeseburger, right? You want some quick junk pleasure, right? That's why you're here. You want to reject a bunch of guys who you don't think are good enough for you, and then be like, "Oh, this guy came up to me, and oh, he was so lame, and I just, And then she's gonna like tell all her friends for the next like 45 minutes about how
Oh,
this guy who wasn't good enough like came up, and then like if a guy who comes up to her she likes is good enough, then she's just gonna fuck him, or well, he's gonna fuck her, and she's like, "Oh, I fucked this guy," and it's
it's
fucking,
funny.
it's
I would submit
exasperating.
I would submit to you that girls talk more like girls amongst themselves when
Mm,
talking about guys. I think they take more pride in talking about the guys they've rejected than the guys they fucked.
yeah.
Because
rejection implies superiority, right? People tend not
yeah,
to
well,
reject things
exactly.
better than them.
And girls know that getting laid is easy. So if they say, yeah, I fucked, they say, yeah, I fucked 5 guys in 1 week, her girlfriends know, well, look, like getting dick is as easy as breathing. That's how that, I mean, they all know this. Gentlemen, you are listening to the Sharp Reality. Gentlemen, you're listening to the Sharp Reality Live with special guest Illimitable Man, founder of illimitableman.com. Make sure you bookmark his site and follow him on Twitter at Illimitable Man. And if you have a question or a comment for either or both of us, type it into the chat section in YouTube, where my assistant will forward those to us and forward those to us for us to read and to be answered on air. So introversion is obviously a big time personality trait, and I am now enacting it. I had never thought of it until just now. What's another personality trait that a woman has to have in order for you to consider her to be a viable candidate for her to be your main chick?
All right, so I just want to sum up the introversion thing because it's actually indicative of a bunch of other things.
Sure, go ahead.
So an introvert woman will, with a high level of probability, be lower in narcissism. Which is a good thing. Narcissistic women are fucking annoying. They require more discipline and punishment and energy and maintenance from a man. And that's why they're annoying. It's like, bitch, I'm trying to build my fucking business and you need me to call you a cunt or to just be an asshole to you because you're acting up for some reason. It's annoying. It's really annoying.
Right.
It's like you don't want to keep fighting with a woman. You don't want to keep insulting a woman or being mean to her because she's being insolent and acting like a little child and challenging you all the time. So an introverted girl is going to challenge you less because she's less egotistical and narcissistic. And that links into the whole, she hasn't been surrounded by men as much and therefore doesn't think she's this like prize that has this high innate value that allows her to just kind of like judge men like, oh no, he's not good enough. Oh no, he's not good enough. Maybe I'll give him a try. Like this is what narcissistic women, this is like an element of their mindset, right? Introverted girls aren't like this because they haven't built up that level of exposure to men. So that's one thing. So less narcissism. Another thing, higher intelligence. Good things for a long-term relationship. Another thing, more than 50% of women are extroverted, right? So if you have so not every man can have an introverted woman, right? So if we just distill it down to the simplicity of supply and demand, if you have an introverted woman, you're doing good.
Yeah, you have a commodity.
Because there's less of them than there are of the extroverted women. Like as a statistic, there are more introverted men in the world than there are introverted women. Women have evolved to be more extroverted in general because they're more dependent on the herd or the group for their survival. So if you go back to like caveman times or whatever, like if a dude is like cast out from the tribe because maybe he was a dick or he fucked a girl he shouldn't have fucked or whatever, like, you know, he can go out, he can like kill an animal, he can kind of try and survive on his own and be a lone wolf and achieve and survive and continue to live with a relatively fair degree of success. Whereas if you casted a woman out of the same caveman tribe, she would have died because she wouldn't have had the physical strength to protect herself.
Right. And I would also draw a direct comparison between introverted girls and extroverted girls. Extroverted females shit test you, okay? Introverted females simply challenge you. Extroverted
Mhm.
females respond to assholery, asshole game. Introverted females respond favorably to true masculinity. If
Mm.
you can be an over the top, try hard, wannabe alpha male, and extroverted girls fuck those guys all day long. But introverted women, because of their introversion, their higher intelligence, they can tell the difference between a man who is confident and a man who is putting on, which is why douchebags and assholes don't fuck introverted girls that often, or at least they don't keep them around that long, because introverted girls know
Mm.
the difference between masculinity and fake masculinity. I've got a comment here from Emmanuel Ajoku. It says, great commentary, gents. Extroverts are a liability for men nowadays, simply not enough upside to being with them.
I mean, I agree. There's no question or challenge or anything in that. So I don't really know how to dissect it further. But he's just reaffirming what we've already said, in a sense that extroverted girls are going to seek more novelty, right? Which means
Right.
higher probability that they're going to cheat, or at least put themselves in situations where they don't cheat. A guy approaches them, and then they tell you a guy approached them, and that nothing happened, and then that's going to trigger your paranoia.
Oh, fucking hell, dude.
Right,
It's gonna trigger something.
it's gonna trigger your fucking paranoia. She's like, so like we were out, like I was like somewhere with my friends, and this guy came over, and I told him to fuck off, and nothing happened, right? But I know he wanted something to happen, right? An introverted girl's never going to say that shit to you, because she's not going to be in that locale. She's not going to be in that at that venue in the first place.
Not only that, she also go ahead.
Purely for your paranoia, or to mitigate your paranoia, have an introvert. Let's assume that paternity tests don't exist, right? And you want to ascertain paternity, have an introvert girl. That's what I'm saying.
And listen, introverted girls know that male attention lowers. Like, an introverted girl knows that how can I put this? That confirmed male attention lowers her value in her man's eyes, because she knows that the more introverted she is, the less likely she is to be in situations that are conducive to infidelity. And the more situations women put themselves in that are conducive to infidelity, the less valuable they become. Because of their higher intelligence level, introverted girls, just as a matter of habit, they're not going to tell you, even if they were approached by a guy, even if somebody did talk to them, they're not gonna tell you as the man, because they listen. Especially if she's a good looking girl, she uses common sense. Hey, look, hey man, like I'm a good looking girl. I'm an attractive woman. Men come on to me. My man knows this. He came on to me. That's why I'm with him. So why do I need to add fuel to the fire? It's to me, it's a basic principle it's a basic fundamental. Introverted women make much better mates than extroverted women. So what would be your number two personality trait for a woman to have to be a candidate to be your main chick?
Well, I still feel like there's a loose end to tie up here of the introverted girls based on what you just said.
Yeah, go ahead.
So with the introverted girls, they're actually less receptive to approaches, because an approach is a quick thing with an objective, right? It's convince this girl to see me again, or go out on a date with me, or whatever. Introverts move at a slower pace when it comes to building any kind of relationship, whether it's a mate or a friendship.
They don't socially escalate. Yes, they don't socially escalate. They don't socially escalate very quickly with men or women, for that matter.
Right, but if you socially escalate with them, they'll feel like you're going too fast, and then they won't like you because you're going too fast. So with it, you don't see an introvert girl in a coffee shop somewhere and go over to her and like say some like clever things, and then she laughs, and then get her number, and then we're going to fuck her when you watch Netflix with her the next day. Like Netflix
and chill, man. Oldest trick in the book.
It's like, oh, we're going to watch Netflix. Oh, okay. It's like,
Oh,
like
dude.
20 minutes in, you're feeling a little horny.
Yeah, she's sucking my dick 20 minutes in. Dude, I can't tell you how many times I have successfully used Netflix and chill. And it's so funny, like, and if a girl doesn't want you to fuck her, she'll just come out and she'll just come out and say, nah, I've got something to do, or whatever the case may be. But dude, if a girl, like, Netflix and chill is quite literally these days the same as when you're talking to a girl. Hey, I'd like you to come home I'd like you to come home with me so I can fuck you. Netflix and chill is the translation to that. It's the plausibly deniable translation to that. Oh my God, you want to go? No, chill out, sweetheart. I just wanted to come over to watch Netflix and chill. What are you talking about?
You know what it is? It's the 2017 version of come in for coffee.
Oh fuck yes! Right.
You want to come and drink some coffee with me?
Oh,
I can't drink coffee by myself. I need to drink coffee with another. Do you want to come and drink coffee with me? Let's get some caffeine. Like,
right. Listen, it's 11:30 at night. I can't drink a caffeinated beverage by myself. Why don't you come up with me and drink this caffeinated beverage with myself, because I can't drink the caffeinated beverage alone. Oh my God. Honestly, I think the come in for coffee was probably the first woman who ever asked a man in for coffee with the intent of getting fucked by him. That's the very first time rationalization hamster was ever used. I want to find that woman and find out who she is.
At least it was used for a noble endeavor. She wanted a man to get laid. So, hats off to her. She's a great woman.
Hey, listen, she didn't want to look like a slut. Listen, I just invited him up for coffee, and 10 minutes in, I was bent over my bed, and he was banging my brains out. I don't know how that happened.
Exactly, and that's actually psychologically, that's very important to a woman.
Oh,
she can't feel like she's a slut. This is why all this plausibly deniable shit exists. It's like, well, we were just watching Netflix, and then one thing led to another. Have you noticed it's that exact phrasing as well? It's one thing led to another. It's like, fuck
right.
off.
It has nothing. Listen, it has nothing to do with the fact that. Listen, it had nothing to do with the fact that we were laying on my couch. I had nothing but t-shirt and panties on, and we were all cuddled up. No, that had nothing to do with it. We were totally just going to Netflix and chill, and that was it. Gentlemen, you're listening to the Sharp Reality Live with special guest Illimitable Man, founder of IllimitableMan.com. Bookmark this guy's site, guys. Follow him on Twitter at Illimitable Man. If you have a question or comment for either or both of us, be sure to type it into that chat section in YouTube, where my assistant will forward those to us to be read and answered on the air. So introversion is obviously it's very important. What is the number 2 trait that you were looking for?
All right, so I will get to number 2 trait, but what I want to say to anyone listening is they build relationships slower. So you can't just in this section of the internet, guys, they say, oh, you can't or shouldn't be friends with women. Oh. What I'm saying to you is that if you want an introvert girl, you have to build things up. You can't just close her in like a day or two, because their receptiveness to escalation is lower.
Right.
So they'll like you. If you try to be like super bold and just close them really fucking quick, they're not going to like you, because you're going too fast for them, because they're introverts. Introverts say they need to trust you more. They need to they have a higher comfort threshold, right? So if you want an introvert girl, you're not going to find her somewhere out on the street or whatever and just close her. Maybe you're going to work with her. Maybe you're going to study with her. You're going to speak to her for a while. And she's going to like you a lot, and you're going to like her a lot, and you're going to be in that like no man's land of, we like each other a lot, but no one's declared that they like the other person more than is plausibly deniable, right? And then because she's a girl, it's your responsibility to say, I wouldn't mind you being my fucking girlfriend or whatever, or just make it fucking obvious, like just be like sexualize shit. Just be like, I wouldn't mind choking you right now.
I like you a lot, but I want to choke the fucking out of you right now. Right. I just got a question. I just got an interesting question here, and this is something that I've heard for a while, and it's something that women sort of tell themselves. and others as an excuse to be these loud, brash bitches. The question is introversion, does introversion signal a lack of self-esteem when it is exhibited by a woman? So when you see an introverted girl, do you see lack of confidence?
It can be, but not necessarily. And so we'll go with the preoccupation with the negative aspect. A woman with a lack of self-esteem is not an unattractive woman.
Right.
I'll tell you what is unattractive. A woman with too much self-esteem. That's narcissism. We're coming back to narcissism, right? I'm not saying you want a girl who can like barely function or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is you don't want, like these like super arrogant black chicks who are like, I'm an independent woman who don't need no man. You don't want one of those. You don't want.
Don't get me started, man.
But you know what I'm saying? It's fucking repulsive, right? So, a woman, like, it's the opposite. So a woman wants a guy who's really fucking sure of himself and kind of arrogant and a kind of narcissistic and confident and bold and what have you. So what's the inverse of that? Well, someone who's a little unsure of themselves, who doesn't feel safe very easily. That's kind of what you want in a girl. You don't want a girl who's. This is the thing with feminism. It tries to imbue narcissism into women. Says, oh, you don't need men, even though they know they do.
Right.
And it tries to masculinize them, and it makes them ugly and repulsive and unattractive. So yeah, I guess an introvert woman is going to seem more insecure than an extrovert woman, but that's not a bad thing. Ask yourself, why would you want a woman who is super confident? Why would you want that? What benefit in your relationship with her do you derive from her being very confident? Does it increase the chances your relationship will last longer? Does it make her more attractive to you? Does it make her more loyal to you? It does none of these things. So people just think arbitrarily, oh, confidence is a good thing. Yeah, in a fucking man it is. Not in the woman.
Right.
Women are meant to be timid. Women are meant to be submissive. Women are meant to be compliant. Right? So if she's super confident, it's going to translate into arrogance. And that's not attractive in a woman.
Lack of confidence. Confidence is the most attractive thing in men. So it stands to reason that women think that being introverts is unattractive. And I'll give you the perfect example. It's actually a movie reference. I'm sure that you're familiar with the Rocky series, Rocky Balboa.
Oh yeah.
Right. I'm gonna go old school. Yeah, right. Sylvester Stallone, Talia Shire, Burt Young, etc. My very first article on Return of Kings, was published on March 14th, 2013, was the four shit tests Rocky passed to win Adrian Balboa. Everyone knows, especially like when they're watching the first Rocky, she was very shy, very timid. She looked down a lot, and Rocky could not, he immediately understood that made her attractive to him. He didn't say, "Oh man, this shy, timid, pet shop store worker who's pushing 30 is shy and timid. Obviously doesn't have a lot of confidence. So I think I've lost attraction." No, Rocky is in there every day with his dog Butkus telling Adrian these jokes, and because he was attracted to her. And it goes back to just what you said. He says in the movie, he says, I've come in here every day for the last year, and I'm starting to wonder if you like me or not, which goes back to exactly what you said, that introverted girls do not like the quick escalation. Yes, Rocky is a movie reference, but the Rocky-Adrian dynamic is a quintessential example of the difference between an introvert and an introverted woman and an extroverted woman. Adrian Balboa was an introvert. That did not scare Rocky away from her. She had no confidence. That didn't scare Rocky away. He did everything in his power to lock her down, because in his mind, he knew this girl's an introvert. And so she probably doesn't get a lot of male attention. So she's sort of a blank slate, a blank canvas, so to speak. And that's what men are attracted to.
So a deep principle here is that men become more manly from experience and exposure.
Right.
Whereas women become less womanly from experience and exposure. So it's like saying that when a man is young, when he's a boy, or let's say he's 18, so he's legally a man, but maybe not spiritually a man. A man is built from adversity and struggle, and in a sense, corruption, right? But a woman isn't. So men are anti-fragile in the spiritual sense, in the existential sense, whereas women are fragile. Like there is no woman in the world who is more attractive to men in general who has had a lot of experience. This is not a thing. Like women don't grow in power from their experience. Men do, and this is the point. So an introverted woman, she has less experience. People like, as a heuristic, they're inclined to think, oh well, you're less experienced, so you're not as good at this thing. Well, that's true of men.
Right.
Because men need to get fucked up a bit, because, like, think about it. We're all kind of born innocent. We're all babies, right, at one point. And we all become kids, and we grow into adults, right? But as a woman, your value is in your naivete and your innocence and your purity. So if you're listening to this show and you read red pill shit and the manosphere, and you're fucking yourself up with all this male knowledge, you're probably corrupting yourself, and you should probably stop right now, even though you probably won't. Right?
Better not.
You probably should, because you're not really doing yourself any favors, right? But as a man, men aren't born men. Like here's the thing, right? Everyone says you're like, if they don't like a guy or they think he's insufficient or whatever, they say, oh, you're a boy, not a man, right? But no one says you're a girl, not a woman. That the same insult isn't there. Like, womanhood is, irrespective of a woman's quality, her womanhood is automatically bestowed on her with age. Now, a man can be 35 or 40 years old and still not be considered a man based upon his quality as an individual. So men are judged more harshly, right? So why is that? Why is that? So the womanhood is assumed, but manhood must be proved, right? And this comes back to the whole innocence and corruption thing. Like, a man isn't, like, you can't be a man without corruption. If you're not, and I'm not saying corruption makes you a bad person. What I mean is you've seen some fucked up shit.
No, I get it. Yeah,
right.
yeah. It right? tempers you. It hardens you. It makes you a man. People say all the time, this is going to make a man out of you. That's why.
Like, I think what I'm really trying to nail is that a man can't be a man without suffering. But if a woman suffers, she becomes less of a woman because she becomes more like a man, because she hardens.
Wow, I like that. Okay, so just for our listeners, I want to say that again, because that's a very good point. A male who suffers becomes a man, who becomes more masculine, I guess, as a result of that. Right. A female who suffers becomes less feminine because she becomes
more masculine.
How about that? I have never thought of it that way.
Suffering enhances masculinity as a general phenomenon. So if you're a man, that makes you more of a man. But if you're a woman, it makes you less of a woman. It makes you one of these, I'm an independent woman who don't need no man. And who wants one of these bitches? That's not feminine, right? If you don't need no man, then okay, don't have one then.
You know what? It's funny. Listen, you bring up a very good point, because men are not, and this sort of goes with our conversation. obviously introversion is definitely, and I think, to be honest with you, I think you've sort of hit the nail on the head, because an introverted girl implies many, many things. Not the least of which is that she probably isn't a slut, though you never know these days. But an introverted girl hasn't been jaded. She hasn't been damaged. She hasn't experienced much. She hasn't been hurt. She hasn't been corrupted. That's attractive to men. So when you're trying to vet a woman to be your main chick, you have to ask certain questions. Hey, how is your relationship with your father? Because Alan Roger Curry, I asked the same question to him a couple weeks back. He says, look, he said, I have to have a woman who respects men. If a woman grew up without a father, then she probably doesn't respect men enough to respect you. So in that same vein, would you say that a woman who has a healthy respect for men, would you say that that's important for women, or would you say, well, listen, if she doesn't have respect for a man, she will have respect for the right man? Where do you fall? Which way do you fall in that mindset?
I'm inclined to think that both are true. So
Okay.
they're not mutually exclusive. So to break that down, I think a woman. So let's assume her dad's Donald Trump.
I love it.
Right. So,
dude,
so
listen, hold on, wait. Let me stop you right there. If her dad is Donald Trump, bruh, you got to lock that bitch down. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, she's probably got her own clothing line.
Yeah, right.
And her dad probably wants to screw her, according to the media. But.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you know how that goes, right? Fucking hell, man.
So, essentially, my point is that if her father's like Donald Trump, she has a so for both sexes, man or woman. So for women, the father. So we're assuming the father is present, and we would hope he would be, even though he often isn't. But we're assuming he's present, and that she's grown up with the father and whatever. So the father is the barometer for what she expects of men. Her father is the barometer of masculinity.
Right. Right.
So if her father's Donald Trump, she needs a hyper masculine guy, because anyone less masculine than her father isn't good enough for her. In the same vein, for men, any woman who is less caring and sacrificial and sweet than their mother isn't good enough for them. So if your mother's a fucking asshole, then most women are an option to you, because your standards aren't too high.
You know what? I'll actually talk about the other side of that. So if a woman's father is Donald Trump, she needs a hyper masculine man to keep her in line. Mm-hmm. Yeah. On the other side of the coin, if a girl was raised with a weak father or no father, what then happens is she doesn't really have a barometer in terms of what she believes masculinity to be. These particular women end up valuing the wrong kinds of masculinity. There are all sorts of memes out there with a girl on a stripper pole who says, "Who doesn't like a girl with daddy issues?" Well, that's just it. Girls who grow up with weak fathers or no fathers, they end up becoming raging whores, because it's almost like they're trying to search out and trying to find what a real masculine man is like. And if the first guy they hook up with happens to be a strip club promoter, guess what? You're going to be leading a life of prostitution and getting fucked by every Tom, Dick, and Harry, thinking that your pimp is the true embodiment of true masculinity, and you're fucking ruined for life. You're ruined for life.
So if she has an absent father, then she is most likely going to be sexually active from a very young age, in pursuit of male approval, which is great for predatory men who want to get laid, but isn't
isn't conducive to any kind of relationship, because it means when a man, you know, when a man of sufficient quality finds her, she's probably going to be banged out by a fuck ton of guys already. So what I'm saying is that if she's from a girl from a single mother family is more likely to be a whore, and a boy from a single mother family is more likely to be either a faggot or B, a super violent fucking sociopath. Like there's no medium. Like if you read the statistics, many of the guys in prison come from single mother families, but we also know that most faggot guys come from single mother families. Why is that? Because there's no father. What is the father? Assuming that most fathers aren't violent alcoholics who beat their kids, and I hear this trope a lot, but it's not common. You know, it's bad for people. It's bad for people it happens to, but it's not common. The father is a stabilizing force, right? So if you just have a mother, you're either going to be a faggot or you're going to be super aggressive because there's no father there, so you feel like you need to protect your mother. So you go either way. You know, there's no happy medium, which is why a lot of the guys in prison are super violent. They all come from single mother families.
It's almost like it's a binary result. There's no in between. Either you become a raging faggot or you become a violent criminal. I'll give you two quick examples. In episode 4, and I've told you about this before, the girl that crushed my heart, the girl Amy that I told everyone about. Episode 4, the worst heartbreak of my life. Dude, she grew up without a father. Her father was in and out of prison most of her life. Lost her virginity willingly. Listen, lost her virginity willingly at 12 years old. I later found out
willingly
had a kid willingly at 12 years old, had a kid at 15 years old, which means, and the guy that impregnated her was my age. So I was 32 at the time I met her. Her kid was her kid was 5 years. Yeah, so she's 14, and the father of her kid was like 29, 30 years old. This was because it's just like you said. She was
kind of pedophilic, man. He's like 13, she's like 12, like that.
Yeah, man, like that and again, I didn't know about this stuff until after the fact. I'll give you another example. And this is a little known fact that people probably didn't realize until they watched the documentary OJ Made in America. There was a little minute and a half snippet of Joe Bell and AC Cowlings, the guy that drove the getaway car. Those two and OJ told him, this was when they were 12, 13 years old. They said, he said, look, I've got something to tell you. And they said OJ was uncharacteristically quiet. So they jumped on the bus, rode across San Francisco, went to his father's house, who was estranged from his mother. They knocked on the door, and OJ Simpson's father opens the door, and there is another man right behind him. OJ Simpson's father was a raging faggot. And that helped to mold OJ into the sociopathic murderer that he eventually turned into. Now, he had other personality traits that gave him the ability to acquire a great lifestyle, but boiling beneath the surface were the adverse side effects of growing up with a faggot father, absentee father, or a weak father. If it has that effect on men, it has triple the effect on women. Women who grow up without fathers or faggot fathers, they end up becoming raging whores. So number one, she's got to be an introvert. Number two, she has to have had a good relationship with her father. Not even a good relationship with her father. She has to have had a decent relationship with her father. Is that fair to say?
It makes me think of the Machiavelli quote. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both, right? So if she doesn't fear her father, she probably... So women's love is based on respect, right? So what is respect? Well, it's either you're really good at something or you're a scary motherfucker, right? It's one or the other. Like, so if you're really talented at something, you get respect. But if the dark side of respect is if you can kill someone and they know you can kill them, but you choose not to kill them because you like them, especially between men and women.
Sure.
That's respect as well. So if your father's a faggot and you're a girl, you don't fear him, and then that gets projected onto men as a whole. So you don't respect men as a whole because you don't respect your father. So women who when a woman fears, and let me try and put this in context. Ivanka probably fears Donald, right? Because he's kind of impulsive and he's very arrogant, but he loves her. But he can be a little bit unpredictable, and if you get on his wrong side, he's probably going to fuck you up, right? But he's not going to arbitrarily fuck you up. He's only going to fuck you up if you do something bad. Like if you act in a way he believes is unethical, he's going to fuck you up.
Right.
And there needs to be that. There needs to be that healthy level of fear there. It's not fear in the sense that I want to make your existence hell for you. It's not that kind of fear. It's fear that if you behave in a way that's bad for you and brings me shame, then I'll fuck you up. That is the kind of fear. So respect for masculinity begins with a girl's relationship with her father and continues into womanhood.
I agree. And I'll make this statement. Women cannot respect men that they do not fear. Okay, they can't respect men if they don't fear, and if a woman can't respect you, then she can't love you. Dude, I had a brief conversation with my main chick maybe about a month ago about the difference between fear and respect. And it's funny because I kind of toyed with her head. I said, "Well, look, if I were to knock your ass out like Ray Rice, would you respect me?" Right? She says, "Would you respect me?" She says, "No, I wouldn't respect you at all because you put your hand on a woman and da-da-da-da-da." I said, no. That you think you wouldn't respect me, but you would fear me. Well, fear is not the same as respect. Oh, yes, it is. If Conor McGregor is in the ring with Nate Diaz, okay, he doesn't necessarily fear Nate Diaz, but he respects his ability to knock his ass out if he does the wrong thing. If there's a brief lapse in technique or a lapse in concentration. So if you pose that question, can you respect a man that you fear? They're all going to tell you no. But deep down inside, if you have a woman and she knows she's done wrong and you put your hands on her before, and it's so funny, women love to say, well, a woman that's with an abusive man doesn't respect him. Yes, the hell she does. They respect the fact that he will knock her the fuck out if at any time she exhibits bad behavior. I got a few more questions here. We've got Grandorn says, the problem with wooing introverted women is that it is hard calibrating your investment so that it doesn't start bordering on orbiting. I was forced to completely cut contact with a woman I was in love with because after a few months, it evolved into that. So it sounds to me like it sounds to me, and you can give your take on this as well, Grand Dorn. I'm not trying to get in your ass here, but it sounds to me like
that's some prison talk right there.
That's some prison talk. Look, I ain't trying to get in your ass, but turn your ass around. It sounds to me, Grand Dorn, that after grab my pocket, straight prison.
Oh man.
It sounds to me, and I'll get your opinion here in a second. It sounded to me, Grandorn, like you didn't have. It sounds to me like your game wasn't tight enough to woo her. Listen, introverted women don't allow you to escalate quickly, but after a few months, if your game was tight enough, if the interest was reciprocal, if she was as interested in you, an introverted girl eventually will come around. But it sounds to me, and I don't have all the information here, so I can't really, give an in-depth opinion. But it sounds to me, just based on what I know, that she might not have been interested. What do you say about that, I am?
I'd say 2 or 3 months is too long. Your time span's more 2 to 5 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. If in 2 to 5 weeks you have not closed the deal with an introverted girl, then your game isn't tight enough. D. Franklin 34. Go ahead.
As a man, you need to be able to read signals. Women don't like to commit themselves to overt displays of interest, right? They don't. Women suck at rejection, so they kind of try to. They try to kind of. It's fucking true. So they try to kind of subtly signal that they like you, but in a plausibly deniable way. It's like you know, that they'll say something, and then you'll think, she like me or she just being nice,
Right.
and if you think, does she like me or is she just being nice, just assume she likes you, because it's her way of not, like, incriminating is the wrong word, but it's her way of giving herself plausible deniability.
Right. It's the
Right.
it's the slut shield. She doesn't want to look like a slut. Right.
I mean, I'm not even sure it's a slut shield. It's more of a it's more of a, she doesn't know if you like her, that she likes you, and she doesn't want to be rejected by you. So she'll say things in a way that shows interest, but if you don't like her, she can say, well, I didn't mean it like that. So she won't get rejected. She's just trying to preserve her own like ego, her own sense of integrity, I guess. So it's similar to a slut shield, but it's not, because there's not a sexual connotation there. It's not about fucking. It's about, does this person does this person like you more than a friend or not? It's more that. So, but as a man, you need to be able to like, you know, if let me put it this way: women are really sweet to men that they respect a lot, and you know, men they're really attracted to, and they're absolute cunts to men who are nothing to them. So if a woman is really nice to you, like really sweet, and there's a plausible deniable aspect here, so she may say, well, you know,
Sure. Right. I was just being nice. This is just how I am.
I'm nice to everyone, but it's like, come on, like, you've been nice to me for like 3 whole weeks now, you obviously like me. Like,
Sure.
like, you need to be able to interpret that and then escalate based on that, and you can't expect her to, you know, to ask you out. Like, women aren't, women, like an introvert woman especially, isn't going to do that. An extrovert woman might, but she's probably a whore, right? Like the woman you want is the woman you want, who is going to be an introvert for a long-term relationship, or to be your like future wife, whatever the fuck you want to call it. She isn't going to do that, right? So you need to be able to interpret the signal that she likes you a lot because she's super nice to you and constantly boosts your ego and whatever. Like, if a woman boosts your ego a lot and she's really nice to you and you have a few interests, she fucking likes you. It's as simple as that. She likes you.
Indicators of interest.
Exactly. Indicators of interest. So, you know, she's not like, she will allow that intensity of she will allow that intensity to remain without escalating. She's not going to escalate. It's never going to happen. So if you don't escalate, you're foregoing an opportunity.
That's your job as a man to escalate.
It's your responsibility, your burden. If you have an insecurity about whether she likes you or not, you think, I like this girl a lot, but I don't want to fuck it up with her by letting her know I like her. Well, guess what? As a guy, maybe you think that, maybe you feel that. You've still got to risk it because you're a guy. Men have to be risky. Men get the most benefit from risk, and even if you lose and she says, well, no, I don't like you like that, well, guess what? Okay, so now you're going to feel like shit, and now you're going to suffer, but you're not a woman, you're a man, so you're going to get a bit fucked up from it, and it's going to make you more of a man because you're a man. If you were a woman, that fucked upness would make you less of a woman, but you have the gift of being a man, right? So you think a girl likes you and it turns out she doesn't like you, and you know, you swallow it, you feel the pain in your fucking chest and whatever, you become more of a man. So it doesn't feel nice, but you become more powerful. You grow. And that's some real shit. If you're a woman, that would fuck you up. I mean, I don't mean fuck you up and then it doesn't feel good, because it doesn't feel good for anyone.
No,
what I mean is that it gives you more power as a man, whereas as a woman, it makes you more of a cunt, and it means guys of high quality don't want to be with you because you're more of a cunt.
Well, listen, this is because a woman's value is based on male desire. It doesn't matter how many badges of honor, it doesn't matter how many personality traits or skills that a woman has, because females know at the end of the day, the one thing that makes them valuable, that gives them validation, is male desire. And this is why women don't handle rejection as well, because male desire is what it's all about. Okay. Well, it's about motherhood too. Yes, motherhood is created by male desire. You are a mother because a man stuck his dick in you. That's how that works. Men, we handle rejection better because we have other shit going on. Okay, yeah, it sucks that the big titty, that the fake titted blonde rejected me, but you know what? I'm going to go home and work on a project or write an article or do another podcast episode or work on my kick-ass car. D. Franklin 34.
I am on.
You know, or yeah, right, right, or go to limitableman.com and figure out how to stop these bitches. D. Franklin 34 says, I even know a few girls that have good relationships with their dads, but they're always hanging with hundreds of boys at once. Perhaps dad isn't masculine enough. I would agree.
Probably.
I would agree. Yeah,
Probably,
if you grew up with a faggot dad, yeah, you're looking for more masculine guys. That's why girls do this.
I mean, if your dad's an asshole, you could be fucking. You could be an Eskimo. You could be African. You could be white. You could be fucking Chinese. Doesn't matter. If your dad's an ass, if your dad's a fucking ass, and you're hanging out with lots of dudes, he's gonna get fucking pissed, and he's gonna stop you hanging out with lots of dudes. So, if you're a chick and you're hanging out with lots of dudes, then your dad isn't stopping it, right? And what does that say about your dad? Either A, he's really fucking busy and doesn't notice, or B, he's a faggot. Because
right.
A woman, you know, and a masculine man who is a father who is engaged in the welfare of his daughter is protective of her fertility. He doesn't want the wrong man impregnating her, right? So he doesn't want a faggot impregnating her because he's too weak. He doesn't want a savage impregnating her because he's not going to provide. He's just going to fuck her and then fuck off, right? So he wants what he wants is someone who is savage enough to fuck people up, but will provide enough to care for her. He wants like a hybrid of the savage and the guy who cares. He wants a hybrid. That's what a man wants for his daughter, right? And if he's really dominant as a father, he knows what really dominant guys are like. He knows what he was like when he was younger. So he wants to protect his daughter from women that are like himself.
Well, that's how it is, man. It takes one to know one, right?
Well, I mean, yeah. In some things, that's true, right? That's true in some aspects. So, you know, a guy who's slept with a lot of women knows what a man who sleeps with a lot of women and kind of discards them after the fact is like. And you know, when it's your daughter, like bearing in mind that you know that with each man a woman has slept with, she loses value and becomes less attractive and more corrupt. If that's your daughter, you don't want that for your daughter.
No,
so you're protective of that. You know, you want your daughter to be mentally stable and to have a man who is not a faggot, but isn't a predator either. And that's what you're evaluating as a father who cares about his daughter. That's what you're evaluating. So this is why women without fathers are so fucked up. They don't have that. Like you can't trust women to know what's in their own best interest. You can't.
Oh hell no, dude! Fuck.
Estrogen levels are too high. You can't.
Listen, estrogen levels are indiscriminate, and you hit the nail on the head. women who grow up without fathers didn't have that. They didn't have that shield to keep out all the riffraff and the bullshit. Like we all, like, dude, my high school sweetheart, she had a very strong father, and she was a white girl, so he didn't like the fact that I was dating her in the first place. But dude, he's scared. Listen, man, dude, listen, I was terrified of that son of a bitch, man. I know, dude. I said, if this dude finds out I am fucking his daughter, I'm gonna die. So I'm gonna make sure I fuck this chick every chance I get, because it might be my last fucking fuck. Gentlemen, you're listening to.
He was telling you to get off his lawn.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. Listen, I'll never forget that. I still have nightmares about this son of a bitch. He was the meanest, toughest son of a bitch I ever saw, man. Oh my God. That's the kind of father. Listen, that's the kind of father girls need. I don't want to say his name because he has a very distinctive name, but oh my God. Gentlemen, you're listening to the Sharp Reality Live with special guest Illimitable Man, founder of IllimitableMan.com. Follow him on Twitter at Illimitable Man. If you have a question or a comment for either or both of us, type it into that chat section in YouTube, where my assistant will forward those to us to be read and answered on air. And I am, as we round third and head for home here, let's change gears a little bit. So now you have a main chick. Okay, you've decided that a girl is introverted enough. She has a good relationship with her father, assuming she's attractive. She doesn't mind cooking, cleaning. She sucks your dick all the time, et cetera, et cetera. How do you manage and cultivate a long-term relationship with your main chick? What does it take these days for men in 2017 to keep a woman in line?
Okay, so, I mean, the simple answer to that question is dominance. But I think what you're really trying to ask is, what, other than introversion, what qualities should a woman have to make her viable for a long-term relationship?
Right.
And I would say, other than introversion, and this is, people think this sounds superficial, but it's important, and I'll go into why it's important. She should know how to cook, and she should want to cook for you. It's not, I know how to cook and I cook for you because I think you want me to cook it. She has to want to cook for you. She has to want to make you food. She has to want to labor for hours in a fucking hot room doing semi-monotonous tasks which improve the quality of the food for your pleasure. She has to want to cook for you because it's about making you happy, right? It's about wanting to please you. So even if a girl can't cook because she doesn't have the experience or the education, if she wants to learn to cook to make you happy, that's as good as a woman who can already cook very well and wants to make you happy. Obviously, a woman who can already cook is going to make you good food from the bat, but it's not just about how good the food tastes, even though you want high quality food. It's about her willingness to sacrifice and to do something that requires a level of difficulty from her. So after introversion, can cook.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so she has to be an introvert. She has to want to cook for you. She has to have had a strong relationship or a decent relationship with her father. Let me go back to what you were saying about cooking. And I think a woman who wants to cook for you, I think that is a foreshadowing of her submissiveness, her willingness to put your needs a woman who wants to cook for you, okay, will suck your cock anytime you want and will fucking let you go back door. Because here's the thing. Here's what cooking, the act of a blowjob, and the act of anal sex all have in common. At best, okay, it's a little uncomfortable. Maybe sometimes it's an inconvenience. Yes, I know some women love to cook. Yes, I know there are some women out there who love nothing more than a dick in their mouth. And yes, I know some women who actually like getting fucked in the ass. But for the other 95% of women, cooking is monotonous, just like you said. Given blowjobs, yeah, it can be hard work, and taking it in the ass can sometimes be painful. But if a woman wants to cook for you, if she looks forward to that, she wants to make you happy. A woman who gets on her knees and sucks your cock, what does that to make you happy? A woman who bends over and lets you lube up her ass before pounding her fucking asshole out, that's a woman who wants to please you. That's the difference. Any woman can suck a dick. There are many women out there who do take it in the ass, and there are a lot of women out there who have far above average culinary faculty. But it's the women that want to do these things for you are the women that will be the most pleasant to be around. Dude, my main chick tells me all the time, and it's so funny because she'll laugh about it. She says, I get such a thrill out of sitting there watching you shovel all of this food into your mouth like you've never eaten before after I've cooked for you. She loves that stuff. And I'm sitting there, I've got food all over my mouth and everything.
Only because she cooked it. Only because she cooked it. Because she's like, right. I'm responsible for this ravenousness. It's an ego thing. That's what it is. Because she, like, if it was like McDonald's, she wouldn't give a shit. But she,
of course not.
You know, it's because she cooked it.
It's because she cooked it, and if I'm fucking her 6 ways from Sunday, she knows that my arousal is something that she caused. It's because she looks good. It's because she walked out in the living room butt naked wearing stripper heels. Women like to know that a quality woman like to know that a man's satisfaction is a direct result of their efforts, and they like putting forth the effort. That is an 100%. Absolute must.
100%. Yeah.
So you've got your main chick, and I guess we'll close it up with this because this is a lot of things. This is something that every man is going to have to deal with at some point or another. So you've got a main chick. She's an introvert. Good, strong relationship with her father. She's not bitchy. She takes it in the ass, swallows your loads, cooks you food. What do you do? Listen, men are simple. Men are simple, man. Feed me, bug me, shut the fuck up. That's Chris Rock said it best, man. So
feed me, fuck me, respect me.
That's right. There you go. That's exactly it. So what if how do you deal with bad behavior? How do you deal with because when a woman is displaying bad behavior, a lot of times she's not shit testing you. And shit testing is not a bad thing, but sometimes a woman is just acting up because she's a fucking woman and she's going to act up. How do you deal with bad behavior?
My instinct is to say, unleashing the pimp hand.
Right. The pimp hand has to be strong, brother.
The pimp hand, you know, it's like, so there's deprivation. So there's the things you're used to that you like. You won't have those things anymore. So maybe you tell her you love her every day. You stop telling her you love her every day. And then there's the maybe you have like an activity you share together or something, and you stop doing that activity, or I mean, it depends on the girl, but as soon as she's a high quality girl, you can't be too abusive. Like with a girl that's a fucking piece of shit, like she's a whore, she's like a super extroverted whore, and she's had like 200 cocks. You can be like a super asshole to her. Sure. She can handle it. She won't like it, but she can handle it, right? But if you have a girl who, you know, like an introvert girl, and you're like a super asshole to her, it's gonna like destroy her world. Like you're gonna be an asshole, and you're gonna go too far just by being an asshole. So it comes back to the whole that question I said about calibration, like how to calibrate with an introvert girl. Well, with an introvert girl, if you unleash your full aggressive capacity, you're probably gonna fucking do something you don't want to do to her, which is you're gonna mentally scar her. You're gonna give her too much experience in terms of the negative aspect of masculinity, which is something you don't want, because you want to keep her in your life and you want to preserve her femininity.
So with a quality woman, what you are saying, if she is exhibiting bad behavior, what you are doing is you are going to systematically and gradually eliminate rewards, eliminate favorable treatment. Okay. And of course, with a woman who's not quality, that's when you turn on the asshole faucet.
So if you're dealing with a whore, you just have to, like, there's no nicer way to put it, but if you're with a whore whores are kind of immune to deprivation because they can replace
Right.
what you don't give them from some other guy in some other capacity.
Right.
Whereas if you're dealing with a girl who isn't a whore, all you have to do is not give her what you usually give her, and she will miss it. That's all there is to it. Whereas, and this is why you shouldn't deal with whores, because if you're with a whore, she's going to make you more of an abomination to exert
Right.
control over her. She will require you to sacrifice more of your soul to make you be more evil, just to keep her in line. Because she's like, this is what happens if you deal with toxic people, if you deal with people who are super damaged, if you deal with super fucked up people, right? And say you're a guy and the super fucked up person is a girl, then what do you need to do to keep them in line? You need to be more fucked up than they are. You need to be
That's
more
right.
mentally violent than they are. And you have to ask yourself, do you want to be that person? Do you really want to sacrifice that much of your sense of self to discipline? And if the answer is no, you shouldn't be with that person and you shouldn't make the sacrifice. If that's the answer, you need to leave that person to be with themselves, like, or to find someone else who's as damaged as they are, right? I mean, guys, as leaders, guys think that women can't damage them and that whatever goes wrong is their own fault because they're the leader. But if you're say you're a guy and you're like, I don't know, say you're 22 or whatever, and you haven't had a significantly deep relationship before, and you're like this girl a lot, but she's really fucked up. She's gonna make you do some really fucked up things to keep her in line. Like if you have to do really fucked up things to keep her in line, she is a toxic human. Not even a toxic woman, a toxic human. Right? If she makes you like fight people and say evil things to her and like slap her and just be like a real piece of shit just so that she retains respect for you, she's a fucked up individual. She's a fucked up individual, and you need to just need to leave, and you need to not feel bad about leaving. You just need to go because she's fucked up, and you just need don't sacrifice your humanity for a corrupt horde. Just leave, just go.
I agree, and this is actually like a pro tip for all you guys out there who are in or about to be in long-term relationships. A female will never give you her real notch count number. A woman will never tell you the real number of men that she has been fucked by. However, the cheat code for this is the more receptive a woman is to verbal and physical abuse, the bigger a slut she is. Okay? Because if you try to pull that kind of assholery or verbally or physical abusive behavior on a woman who is a quality woman, a woman who's had right, exactly. You're out of the dude. You're gonna completely scare her away. She's gonna be like, "Oh my god, you're fucking dangerous. You're a monster." Blah 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 blah. But sluts, oh, they love that behavior. And listen, dude, she'll cry and she'll whine and she'll bleed and she'll fucking tell you she hates you and she'll throw her phone at you and she'll go at you with knives. But guess what? 1 hour later, she'll be guzzling every drop of your salty loads because she's a fucked up whore. Again, the more receptive a woman is to both physical and verbal abuse, the bigger a slut she is. It never, ever fails, ever.
This is like incontrovertible facts of reality. It's like saying when water gets to 100 degrees centigrade, it turns into fucking gaseous vapor. Like,
that's right.
It's one of those facts of nature. If she behaves better from psychologically aggressive incursions, she's a fucking whore. It's a really good metric to hold a woman to. If you're really mentally aggressive towards a woman and she's not scared but she feels in line, she's probably a whore.
Of course she is. And
If
listen, unfortunately,
she
this is
gets
the
really
case with most
scared,
women.
if she gets really scared, she's inexperienced.
Right.
And that means she's probably a good woman. And you probably need to stop being so fucking tyrannical.
Yeah, so the first time you raise your voice to a woman, doesn't matter if she's a Madonna or a whore. The very first time you have to raise your voice to a woman, you're going to startle her a little bit. But the quality woman, the Madonna, the chaste female, the female who's only slept with 2 men in her life, she will recoil completely. She'll still respect you, but she doesn't want to be with you anymore because you have shown volatility. The whore who's fucked 116 guys, the slut who's banged 278 guys, she'll recoil a little bit, but she will fall in line because this is the behavior that's necessary to keep these kind of women in line. So I want to make the distinction for our listeners here. If you think you have a quality woman, okay, if you're with a woman and she's exhibiting bad behavior and you're doing what I am says and you're systematically taking away rewards for her, but the bad behavior continues, I got news for you. She's fucked more than 5 guys. The number is probably closer to 55.
So a quality woman will not fall into line from psychologically aggressive behavior, but will become more fearful of it. So a whore is more respectful of psychological tyranny, whereas a chaste or a less experienced woman, or whatever you want to describe it as, she will trust you less because of how aggressively assertive you've been. What I'm trying to say is that whores find comfort more easily than non-whores. So in terms of the attributes of quality woman, so we've said probably introverted and they can probably cook well. There's a few other things, right? So I'd say the third significant thing is she doesn't like spending a lot of money. Whores love spending money. They want to spend money all the time. They want to spend your money. They want to spend their own money. They want to take out debt to spend money. They just want to buy shit non-stop. They always want to buy shit. They just want to consume
Listen,
shit.
this is like you said, it's like the cheeseburger analogy that you made. They need the quick, fast validation. They need that dopamine rush. Same thing.
Yeah. Retail fucking therapy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Retail therapy. I love it. I never heard that before. That's great. I like that.
They need the dopamine rush from a fucking fresh acquisition.
Right. That is absolutely a slut tell, man.
Right.
And that's responsible.
But that is a slut tell because think about it sexually. That's like having a fresh stick, right? Fresh purchase, fresh stick, like.
Need a fresh cock and balls, man.
Right. It comes back to the same phenomenon, which is novelty seeking. Extrovert sluts, they seek novelty. Right? They have a guy, have him a few times. Okay, now I want a new one. Right? Whereas a qualitative girl, an introvert girl, who's very discriminant about who she does anything with, that this isn't the case. It's not a quantity thing, it's a quality thing. And once she finds quality, she wants to keep the quality. It's all fucking interconnected, right? And you find that introvert girls tend to be more frugal. They don't want to buy things they don't need or don't think will improve their life. Whereas extrovert girls, you just buy shit because it's like, oh, I own something now. This is amazing. I have this like new pair of shoes I'm probably not gonna fucking wear. Like, whatever. I mean, it's lame, but it's a thing. A quality woman does not buy things for the sake of buying things. So she's an introvert. She cooks. She doesn't like spending money, and if she likes reading books, you better start sticking your babies in there.
Right, that's right.
You better take that condom off. Tell her to stop fucking taking birth control and just start sticking babies in there
because that's the mother of your kids right there. I mean,
I got a couple
that's how it is.
I got a couple of quick final questions. D. Franklin 34 asks, what advice would you give? What advice would both of you give to a teenager, 15 years old, in high school? He says, I do work out and learn a language, but as time passes, I find myself falling a little bit.
Well, why? Like, so,
hey, dude, listen, man, you're only 15, man. Like, listen, experience is the best teacher. What I would advise you to do as a 15-year-old high school student, dude, get your nose bloodied, man. Go out there, fail with women, get your heart broken. It's just like I said earlier, experience, corruption, all of that stuff that tempers a man into a masculine male. That's how to do it. It's blunt force trauma. What do you say?
Yeah. For men, yeah, I agree. Experience is conducive to the falsification of masculinity. A man becomes more of a man because he's been through fucked up shit. Like, men aren't born, men are made. Everybody knows that. So how is a man made? Well, he sees some fucked up shit. But if you're 15, right, you're still in school, you work out. So on the workout thing, your testosterone levels are naturally highest as a teenager. So, you know, within the last few years, you start growing hair in places you've never seen hair before. Your voice has gotten deeper. Why is this happening? Because your testosterone levels are higher, and your dihydrated testosterone, your DHT, is higher, right? So, every boy, every son who has a good father in his life, who is knowledgeable, would say to his son in his teenage years, lift some fucking weights. Like you use your puberty testosterone to gain some mass and to build your body. It's, you know, without using like steroids and TRT and all this kind of thing, the puberty, that's the highest. Like, these are the
those are the prime years, man.
Those are your prime years in terms of testosterone levels. So if you're lifting at 15, you're already doing really good. So when he says he's falling, I don't know how he means. Does he mean academically? Does he mean even though he lifts a lot of weights that he doesn't know how to talk to women? I mean, I don't know what he means when he says.
Listen, if it doesn't matter which way he's falling, if he's falling academically or falling with girls, it's the same advice. Get your nose bloodied, man. Like, listen, man, like most there are some lessons in this life as men that we can be taught, but most of the lessons that we as men have to get, those have to be learned. And you can only learn, yes, you have to listen, the only way around the fire is through it. Absolutely. Like I said, get your nose bloodied, go out there, talk to girls, fail miserably, don't get anybody pregnant, and just subject yourself to the litany, subject yourself to the tyranny, and eventually you'll come out the other side at least more masculine. And we have more, and we have just two more questions here. Logic Wins asks, guys, what about political affiliation? Right-leaning newswomen, such as the ones on Fox News, are generally more attractive than their left-leaning counterparts, i.e. Rachel Maddow. He says, why is this? I'll let you go first. This one is obvious.
So left-leaning women, they need to redefine what constitutes success into something closer to their degree of failure. So it's basically crab bucket mentality, right? So someone who's a loser says, oh, well, what you're doing isn't right, and this is really what's right. And it just so happens that what they really believe is right is closer to their level of success or who they are. Whereas women who are on the right, they tend to be attractive women or Scandinavian-looking blonde women who are very thin and have very alpha boyfriends. Why are they right? Why are they on the right? Well, because, like, think about it. If you're on the left, politically, what do you want if you're on the left? You want the state. You want the government to give you resources because you're a loser.
Right.
That's what you want if you're on the left. If you're on the right, you're saying, I don't want losers to get my stuff. I want to keep my stuff. I want lower taxation. I want the government to stay out of my business because I'm already a success and I don't want to give my shit to losers. So women on the right are successful women. Why are they successful? Because they're beautiful. So why are women on the right tend to be more beautiful? Well, they're more successful because they're beautiful, and therefore they don't need the government to give them free shit because they can get good-looking / powerful men to give them free shit.
Right, because they're beautiful.
Right. Like it's like all these women who are like make America great again, and they're voting for Trump, and they're wearing their fucking MAGA hats, the red MAGA hats, right? They've all got really fucking hot boyfriends, or if they don't, they're from, their father is a fucking boss. They're from a good family, like a family that has money and isn't like corrupted by this whole like academic liberal ideology. They have all this shit going on. They have resources and they have masculinity in their lives. The women who don't have strong, as sociologists would call it, hegemonic masculinity in their lives, and they don't have resources, they want the government to intervene to give them what they don't have. So yeah, girls on the right are probably more likely to be blonde, and even if they're not blonde, they're probably more likely to be attractive, because by being attractive, they can get men worth a fuck to give them money and to give them the emotional stability they need. Feminists are just loser women, right? They're loser women who are unfulfilled and want the system to give them what they lack.
I agree with you, and I'll add to that. Conservatism embraces femininity. Liberalism embraces feminism, okay? And this is why women, well, formerly of Fox News, Megyn Kelly, I mean, dude, she's 45 years old. She's beautiful. Martha McCallum, Gretchen Carlson, who doesn't work there anymore. All Ainsley, I mean, all of these women on Fox News are attractive women because they are conservative, and conservatism values femininity, long, beautiful hair, nice thin bodies. Whereas women like Rachel Maddow, right? Whereas women like Rachel Maddow, you couldn't tell as a man, except for the fact that her name is Rachel, she is a feminist. And this is why she looks like a man. She embraces the feminist culture. The red pill, and I tweeted about this earlier this week, the red pill encourages men to be more attractive to women. Feminism encourages women to be as unattractive to everyone as humanly possible. So women who are conservative, they hold traditional values. This is why they look better, because they know that men don't want women that look like Rachel Maddow. We don't want that. Listen, we don't want fucking fat purple-haired bitches who are covered in tattoos talking about how strong they are. This is why women on the conservative side look better, because they understand the true definition of femininity. I got one last question here. He says, I got a question for Donovan. He said, and this is my last podcast I did with Gay Lou Boyle, who you're familiar with. I am over at Red Pill Reddit.
I love his name.
Oh, I do. I love it. I love it. It is a brilliant mix of irony and trolling all at the same time. I fucking.
You can just see Milo getting his night on with that name.
Oh, good. Gay Lou Boyle. And if GLO is listening, I'm sure that Milo would entertain. He would definitely entertain any thoughts of that. He says you said before that Asians are in the lowest part of the totem pole of men in the dating scene. What about Arabs? The answer to that, as far as I'm concerned, is I don't know. I know a lot of.
Understand the question.
Well, last week I discussed with Gay Lube Oil that men who are like Asian men, I submitted to him that Asian men are at the lowest of the sexual market value totem pole. Asian men are the least desirable, and he went one step further. He says, you know what? I disagree. I think Indian men are the lowest on the S&V male sexual totem pole. This guy wants to know, what about Arabs? And I don't have an answer. What do you think?
Okay, so with Asian men, it's not spiritual or psychological. It's purely biological.
Sure.
So Asian men have the least masculine appearance of all the races out there. the Asian men are the least hairiest, the least muscular,
Right.
right? And black men are the opposite. They're the most muscular. I don't see a lot of hairy black men. Maybe they shave. I don't know. But let's put it this way: an Asian man, the average Asian man will struggle to grow a beard.
Right. Right.
The average black man probably isn't going to struggle to grow a beard. It's
Nope.
purely biological. But then look on the flip side. Look at femininity, right? Asian women are very feminine, right? Now, I don't know many non-blacks who say, "Hey, I really want a black woman. She's so feminine." It's the opposite, right?
Right.
So the black woman is the feminine equivalent of the Asian man.
Wow.
The black woman is the least feminine woman, and the Asian man is the least masculine man. And I'm not trying to be an asshole.
No.
I literally,
No.
I literally,
You're absolutely
I mean this. So I mean this in terms of biology, right? So the Asian man has the least obvious, and obviously there are exceptions that are muscular, hairy Asian men, but most Asian men aren't muscular and aren't hairy, because if they were, we wouldn't be having this conversation. In the same way that most black women aren't feminine. There are feminine black women who are submissive, but they're not in abundance. And if you're a hairy, muscular Asian man, or you're a feminine black woman, you're not going to have trouble finding a partner. But in terms of general trends, the average Asian man and the average black woman, their own like, put it like this: if you're a black woman, most black men are looking at women who aren't even in your race, right?
That's right.
If you're in America and you're an Asian woman, yeah, you may like some Asian men, but you're probably looking at white dudes. Why? Because there's a lack of biological, not psychological, biological masculinity in Asian men. So muscularity and hairiness is biologically masculine. It's not an evaluation of your character as a person. It's so
strictly biological.
It's biological. It's genetic. So if you're not hairy and you're not muscular and you don't have a deep voice, to a woman, you're not very attractive, because you have a high voice. You're not very hairy. You don't have much muscles. Maybe you're about 5'5" or 5'6".
Oh my
God! These aren't masculine. These aren't masculine traits. Women like masculine traits, whether they're of your race or not. It doesn't matter. All women like masculine traits, and Asian guys. If you're in your own society, there's no alternative. But if you're in a multicultural society, if you're in the West and you're competing with other races, you're an Asian, right? Well, white men and black men, if you're an Asian man, they are more andron. I'm not pronouncing this right. They're more androgenic than you are.
Okay,
so
there we go.
And there's a biological basis for this. So Northeast Asian men on average have less of the 5-alpha reductase enzyme that converts testosterone into dihydrotestosterone. So what does that mean? It means dihydrotestosterone is responsible for visually masculine features. So hairiness is a product of dihydrotestosterone. So most Asian men can't grow a beard. Some Asian men can. There's percentiles in every spectrum. But if you go into, let's say you live in California, right, which is as liberal as they get.
Oh,
right?
Of course, right.
And just go anywhere in California right now and see some Asians. The chances they have a beard is lower than the chances they do have a beard. Most of them are not going to have a beard. They're not going to have visual indicators of masculinity. So that's what it comes down to. It's genetic discrimination. Whereas so Asians have, and people are very sensitive to this, but I'm not saying what I think. I'm saying what I.
No, this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
So I'm saying what I believe to be true, right? So Asians have the highest average intelligence, but the lowest visual indication of masculinity. Asian men on average aren't tall. Asian men on average aren't hairy. And if you look at like models and shit, you think, oh, men aren't meant to be hairy. But a lot of women like hairy men. Hairiness is masculine. But you don't like hairy women. So what's the opposite of that? A woman likes a hairy man.
There you go.
Hairiness is masculine, right? So the average Asian man isn't tall, he isn't hairy, and he isn't muscular. These are all masculine aspects, right? White men, they can go either way. They can be very masculine looking, or they can just look like faggots. Like what white men are sort of like intermediate. Like
it's sort of the hodgepodge.
Right.
I actually made this assertion in episode 35, part 2 on of the Sharp Reality. I did a podcast that Friday about why parents don't allow, or why they frown upon, their teenage sons and daughters dating interracially. And of course, we all know we're talking about white boys or white girls and black boys. Well, and so I got all sorts of blowback, and Donovan, you're devaluing black men, etc. Yeah, I mean that's just how that is. But here's the thing. Yeah. Well, yeah, but here's the thing: black men, as black men, we are genetically superior. We are bigger, faster, stronger. There are no two ways about
testosterone.
It. Higher testosterone, exactly.
So it depends how you define genetic superiority. So if you define genetic superiority by high testosterone levels,
right, physically,
so in terms of physicality, then blacks would be the most superior race, because blacks have the highest average testosterone and the highest average free testosterone level. So you can have a really high testosterone level, but if your free testosterone is low, that means all your testosterone is bound by SHBG, sexual hormone binding globulin. So you have proteins binding your testosterone. So even though it exists in your body, it cannot exert any effect on you. So you don't feel it. If you don't feel it, it may as well not be there, right?
Right.
But if you look at terms of intellect, it actually inverses. So blacks are the least intelligent ethnicity of all ethnicities on average.
Right.
So African Americans are smarter than Africans because they have European admixture in. So most African Americans, not all, but most, 25% white, because those evil white plantation owners were raping black bitches, right?
Right.
So there's some white DNA in. Right? I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just trying to say
the truth. This is what it is, man.
I'm trying to convey the truth about some black guy coming to my house in England and fucking me up.
Knock knock. Are you I am? You call me dumb.
But no, it's true. It's true. So the average European DNA.
Hold on, let me interrupt you. You're not you're worried about the black guy, but you're definitely not worried about some Asian dude coming here.
Exactly. It's all in the testosterone, right? I know someone with a lower testosterone level isn't gonna try and come and fucking kill me. No, a guy with a really high testosterone level is gonna try and kill me over some silly little bullshit.
Over some dumb shit. Right.
He's gonna be like, what? You fucking
fuck.
Hey, I wanted that. You took that? He's just gonna fucking lose his shit over nothing. Right?
I'm gonna go to prison over this shit.
I like prison. I get a challenge in there. You know what I'm saying? Man, this is how it is. So it depends how you evaluate. So in terms of superiority, how do you evaluate superiority? Well, so white people are not the highest testosterone, and they are not the highest IQ. White people are in the middle in terms of IQ and testosterone. Blacks have the highest testosterone, and the Asians have the highest IQ. Asians have the lowest sensitivity to testosterone, and blacks have the lowest average IQ. African Americans are not, like some of them probably are, but most African Americans aren't fully African. They're not fully black. They're at least 25% white. what's it? It's the one drop rule or whatever. If you, I mean,
Yeah, so
I
it's
don't.
like men like me. I get all the benefits of having black genetics without any without, I guess, a lot of the detriments that come with them. So
Drawbacks.
yes, I am like both of my parents were black, but I'm a light skinned black guy, and I'm certainly no dum dum. But by the same token, dude, I mean I'm 6'1", I weigh 225 pounds, and I'm not fat. So
right, if you were an Asian, you'd be in like the 99th percentile. How many Asians are 225 pounds at 6'1"? Like
sumo wrestlers.
Yeah, but they're fat. Like they're not muscularly.
They're fucking fat.
Like, you know, these guys have been eating like 5,000 calories worth of fucking noodles. Like,
oh fucking hell! Noodles, 5,000 calories. Dude, it's funny. My main chick works. She actually works for a company where there's a bunch of Asians, and these are like the first fat Asians that she's ever met. She's like, all they eat for lunch is noodles and rice. I'm like, dude, those are carbs, man. That's how they roll.
Noodles are the rice and beans for Asians.
Oh yeah, yes. Well, I am definitely thank you for coming on today with me, man. This was definitely
always
a lively discussion. Absolutely. We covered a number of topics.
I'm sure we triggered a bunch of fucking people.
Oh, fucking hell, man. Yeah.
Just speaking the truth, you know.
Well, listen,
the truth always upsets people.
It does, but if you turn up dead, I'll make sure I tell the authorities that, a tiny Asian did
it. Just be like some 5'2" Asian guy who's really good at kung fu. Just
came and fucked me up. Yeah, just came and fucked me up.
It's like geolocated I am and just fucking raped him. Like,
gentlemen, definitely follow this guy on Twitter at Illimitable Man. You need to bookmark his site, illimitablemen.com. The kind of writing this guy does, man, it makes you think, and it makes you see it makes you see the red pill from a deep psychological angle. Anybody who has figured out, even if you've been successful with women in the past, illimitablemen.com helps you to it's almost like a cheat code. You can like, if you read this stuff, you can almost see things before they come. And I'm not exaggerating, guys. Like, this is really, and he doesn't write above your head. You're not gonna have to be looking shit up in the dictionary, but he speaks in layman's terms, but he really plays to your Y chromosome to understand the complex the complex psychology that comes with being a man. And he really simplifies women. Women are not complex. They're very, very simple. So you definitely need to follow this guy on Twitter. That concludes this episode of the Sharp Reality Live. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Donovan_Sharp. Visit DonovanSharp.com anytime to listen to all past episodes. Be sure, guys, to bookmark that Amazon link on the right-hand side of our homepage to support the show. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter, also in that sidebar, and you'll be supporting the show at zero cost to you. Thanks for listening, guys. It's been a pleasure as always. I look forward to next time, my friend.
Always a pleasure, man. Looking forward to the next time. You take care of yourself.
Take care, man.